All right, guys, welcome back. Time to go through the snare mics. We're gonna try and move quick, guys, because it's a lot of snare mics, okay? It's a lot of snare mics. First on the docket, SM57, the classic. Everybody knows the SM57. Most people probably start off with the SM57, accessible anywhere around in the world. Let's see what this sounds like. Now, can you tell us what snare you're playing and then give us your thoughts?
I am playing a Tama. It's a Starphonic. It sounds good already, naturally. When it comes to the mic, it's a 57. It sounds natural. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't get the shine of the snare, but it's a 57, you know, can't go wrong for 57.
Okay, guys, moving on. We're gonna move on to SM58. Thoughts?
You just get a little more body from the 58 that the 57 didn't give you, but it's very similar to me.
All right, guys, we're moving on to a Beta 58. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think the Beta 58, you get a little more roundness and you kind of get that shine from it, which I like.
All right, guys, Sennheiser E604. We're not using the mic stand, we're just gonna clamp it, guys. Some of these things are gonna be clamped just to make it easier. But remember, guys, we're worried about just hearing what the tone sounds like, okay? That's what we're going for. All right, let's go, Marlon. Thoughts?
For a small mic, it sounds pretty good on snare. Yeah, I like roundness in my snare, and you actually getting this from a 604. So, yep.
So, guys, remember, if you're doing reggae, that could be a really good option for your reggae rim mic. All right, moving on to SE V7X. Thoughts?
Like the mic, it doesn't feel like it's super on the high end or super on the low end. I feel it's just right, and it sounds very natural to me.
All right, guys, we're going to the VBeat. Guys, once again, we're not in a, I know we're in a studio environment, but we're not really trying to be very precise. We're just trying to get ideas of what these mics sound like tone-wise. This is the Electronics VBeat. Thoughts?
You get the tubbiness out of it. I would love to use this mic on a side snare because it feels like it brings out the body of the snare, but it still has the top shine. Yeah, so yeah, of course, SC is always a win for me.
So guys, next few mics probably gonna be condenser mics. We're gonna start with I believe it's the SE8 condenser mic. Thoughts?
Wow, you could really hear the rim of the snare. It's very top hand heavy. Yeah, I don't feel like I get the body of the snare with this one. It's louder, you know, the condenser nature of it, but yeah.
So guys, I work at a church here locally in Houston in Humble, Texas called the Luke Church. On my main snare mic, I have a SE8 and a Heil PR 22. I always tell people that the condenser mic always surprises me because you would think that it's all top end. But what I found out is I get my crack from my dynamic mic, and I get my depth and my body and fullness from my condenser mic. So if I get a chance to, whenever I do live recordings or if I'm in the studio recording, I will always put a condenser and a dynamic up, just to be able to get the fullness of a snare mic, you know, and then depending on the day, it might be a dynamic mic on the snare bottom or a condenser mic. The next mic we're going to is the Lauten Audio snare mic. Let's go. Thoughts?
Very full, very complete mic. It's not like it's top heavy or mid-range heavy. It is very full. You could literally hear the top end of the snare and the mid-range at the sub of the snare. So I really like this mic.
So on this mic, we've kept all the settings flat. You can always adjust the high pass, the low pass, whatever you feel like. This mic is definitely one of my go-to mics for side snare. And then depending on the genre, if I'm looking for like that big fat tone, this is definitely a mic I will go to because I always get what I'm looking for in that mic. We're gonna try the Beyerdynamic D57. Okay, so let's try the Beyerdynamic D57. Thoughts?
You could hear the top end of it. Not too much body of the mic, but the top end really shines on this one.
All right, guys, we're coming out of condenser mics, and we're gonna go through. We're gonna come back to some condenser mics, you know, when we get to the late, but we're gonna go through a whole bunch of dynamic mics again. First up is since already put up there, we're gonna go with the M201, a favorite of a lot of people. Personally, my M201 stays on my hi-hat because I just love a dynamic mic on a hi-hat, but it's also great on snares and percussion. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna listen to what a M201 sounds like on a snare.
Not bad. It's a dynamic mic, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty complete. A little more on the higher end. You could hear the ream of the snare, which is always a good thing. But yeah, pretty complete mic.
You're gonna see a lot of people using that as their snare mic. I personally, I've been on a couple of gigs whereby I was on monitors and front of house, that's what they preferred. You know, it's not been my go-to snare mic. It is good. I've used it for a lot of percussive elements, and I've also used it for, like I said, it's my go-to hi-hat mic on pretty much any gig, if I can have my way with mic selections. We are going to listen to the Beyerdynamic M88 now.
Wow, it's pretty nice. You could hear the brightness of the snare, but it also brings out the true tone of I would say the wood of the snare, which I like. Yeah, this is a pretty nice mic. Why haven't we never used this mic on a gig?
I don't know. When I actually bought the mic, I bought the mic for horns and things like that. But it's also, I don't have the phone, but it's also, I've heard it being used on a kick. This has also been used on a kick mic. It's a very good multi-purpose mic, but I bought this mic specially to use on things like horns and percussion and percussive elements. So, but I don't know why we never tried it on a gig. I guess we're about to find out why. I think I know why we haven't tried it. We're about to find out why. Let's see. When we get there, we'll know. We'll know if we made the right decision or not. Maybe we'll have to change our snare mic after this experiment. Who knows?
Yeah, it sounded pretty good though.
That's my first time actually using it on a snare, guys. I've never used it on a snare. So as I'm doing this for you guys, I'm also doing this for myself. All right, guys, the next few set of mics is one of the favorite companies I love. Anybody that's been around me, that has worked with me, will tell you I love Heil mic. First up on the Heil mic is the PR20. Now guys, just remember, a lot of this Heil mic can be used for multiple things. The PR20, PR22, PR35, PR37 are all great vocal mics, but you can also use them for snare, percussion. You know, the PR31BW, that's my cheat code mic. You can use it literally for everything. I've used it for snare, top, bottom, hi-hats, toms, overheads, percussion, choir mics. Believe me, it sounds great on choir. So Heil makes some pretty good products that are multi-use and stuff. You know, if you've never tried out their products, I think you should check out their collection of mics. And I believe like they are fairly priced. But first up is the PR20.
Yeah, this mic is my favorite mic on snare because you get the attack, especially if you want your snare to like cut through the mix. You can't go wrong with none of the Heil mics, honestly.
So guys, I know he said that that is one of his favorite mic, but what he really means is his favorite mic is the PR22. And that's what we're about to hear right now. Let's listen to the PR22. Thoughts?
Yeah. I feel like it's like the same thing, but you just get more top end with it. You could hear and feel that top end. Like both, I wouldn't go wrong with any of the Heil mics, honestly.
So guys, that's probably the reason why we haven't taken the M88 out on the gig, because our snare mic on our gig is usually the PR31BW and the Heil PR22 is our snare bottom mic. We're gonna hear the PR31W in a second. This is a new mic to the collection. I believe it's the Handi Pro. I have yet to actually hear what the mic sounds like. For those that are curious, you can probably see that the mic fits in the palm of my hand. It's such a small mic. And I've been told it's also a multi-purpose mic that allows you to be able to get mics in certain places where you don't have the space for, bigger mics and stuff like that. But let's listen to the Handi Pro. This is my first time hearing this mic also.
Wow. For a small mic, it's pretty complete. It has top end and it has some low end on the small mic. Yeah, I like it. I could definitely see we using this mic on a gig. It
Hey
sounds
guys.
good.
Hey guys. Sometimes the size does not matter. Just want to put it out there. Don't be fooled by the fact that it's a small mic or whatever the case is. Trust the tool that you have. Trust the tool to do the job. I'm looking forward to try this on percussion, snare mics actually. I might bring this out on the next gig just to see what it sounds like. We're gonna go to the PR28. We're gonna go to the PR28. That's also a Heil mic. Usually I would have this on toms, percussion. Let's go. Thoughts?
Yeah, a lot more top end. Yeah, you could hear the natural sound of the snare. I just wish it was a little fuller. But yeah, it's Heil. Heil is always a good mic,
All right, so the next mic we're gonna go to, if I can get this off, we're gonna go to the PR35. Now, typically you'll probably see this on vocals with most people, but it can also be used as a snare mic and percussion mic and guitar mic, horn mic, whatever. Let's hear what the PR35 sounds like.
It's very top end heavy, very, very, very top end heavy. I feel like I'm missing that bottom end of it. It's a little too top heavy for me.
So remember, guys, once again, mics will sound different, but you gotta remember, what are you going for? What sound are you going for? What are you trying to do? You know, you can study the frequency chart, see what the frequency chart is showing you. But if you get a chance to listen to what the mic sounds like, that could also help you. You know, if you're using it for voice, it might be what you need to help someone that needs some top end on their voice. You know, next mic on the docket is going to be the PR37, also from Heil. All right, so we're going to the PR37.
Yeah, I love the attack on this one. It's yeah, I you also get the mid range of this one, but I feel like the attack is very nice on this one. It reminds me of which
The PR22 is the one.
PR22. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The attack, the heel has that attack on the snare, which I like.
So guys, we're going to one of my favorite mics. If you can see the red head, that's typically how I know that's the mic I've been using for snare. We're listening to the PR31BW.
Attack, attack, attack. This thing is cutting through the mix. Yeah, and it still makes the snare sound very natural, but the attack on this is crazy. Wow.
As you can see the size of the mic, it can, you know, you can fit it in most places. I've used it for horns. It's my go-to in combination with the PR48 for organ. You know, if you ever see me mic up with organ, you're gonna see, if I can help it, and if I can make the decision on the mic choice, you will see a PR31 BW as my top and a PR48 as my bottom mic. There's a reason we use that mic in the band for our gigs. All right, guys, we're back again with one of my favorite companies. You guessed it, Lewitt Audio. We're gonna go through a few Lewitt Audio mics, starting with the LCT 140. Now, this is the classic. I don't have the LCT 140 here. We have that mic, but that mic has been rented out to a band that is currently using it. So, but this is one of the original LCT 140. So let's listen to that on.
Oh, wow. That sounds really, really good. I feel like it's a thinner mic, but you really get that crack of that snare. Again, why we don't use this at snare mic?
Like I said, we have too many options, and we found one that was just working, and we just went to it, guys. Yeah. Here's a mic I've actually never tried on anything else but vocals. This is the 350, I believe it's the 350 CM by Lewitt. It's just one of those mics that I've just used for vocals, but I said, why not? Today's the day to see what it sounds like. Let's see what surprise it has for us.
Wow, that sounds full. That sounds really full. I could definitely see we using this mic as a main snare mic. The attack is not there like the heel, but it sounds really full. And that's how I like my snare. I like my snare full.
So guys, you see, as we're doing this experiment, it's making us ask ourselves certain questions on what we want to do, what we might go back and change. Yeah, guys, options are there. You know, we have options for these things. You know, you just gotta figure out what you like. You know, find the tone you like. Find the purpose of why you want to use a certain mic for whatever purpose you want to use it for. The next mic we're gonna go to is the MTP 840 DP from Lewitt Audio. Now, this mic is a special mic because it is a It is a dynamic mic and an active mic at the same time. It has some high pass settings in there. So you can use it as an active mic if you want to, and you can, if you want to get a condenser sound, you can use that as a condenser sound. I think what I'm going to try and do first is probably use it as a dynamic mic, and then we'll switch it to condenser and see what it sounds like. So let's see what this sounds like as a dynamic mic.
Same. I feel like it sounds pretty full and it still has the attack, which I like. Okay,
so we're gonna try and switch it to a condenser, guys. Everything's still flat, and then you could also put in on a super cardioid, but guys, we're not gonna do all that today. And I'll try and put up the patterns of this mic as we're going through them. Like I said, I'll try and see if I can put the frequency response and the patterns on them. All right, let's listen to it as a condenser mic.
Same. I feel like it still continues to be a very full mic. I could definitely see me liking this mic because, again, I feel it has the body, but it also has the attack as well. Not as much as the Heil, but it does.
So guys, I hope you're hearing something here. There's an attack from the Heil that the drummer likes, and that tells you that most likely the nuts, he's always going to go with that. And what that does for an engineer sometimes also is, it means that I could easily put a mic up to a snare that is well tuned. Maybe throw a high pass on there and just keep moving. I don't have to waste time with EQ. And sometimes that's what you need on a gig, because you need to get in and get moving. So you don't want to waste time trying to EQ. So sometimes having a mic that has that sound that you want might be a good thing, depending on what you're trying to do. We're gonna listen to the 040 match from Lewitt. This is the 040 match from Lewitt. It's also a condenser mic. Thoughts?
Very attacky, very snappy, very top end is right there. A lot of top end. I could definitely see using this mic on like a reggae gig or something. But very snappy, very, very, very.
All right, guys. If you're still here watching, and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like, share. Talk to us. Let's have a conversation. What mics do you like to use? What mics have you used? What is your go-to mic? Why do you go to that specific mic? What mic would you like to hear? What mic would you like to see? Maybe we can come back on another day if we can get a hold of the mic. Hopefully this has been helpful to you guys. I think we're down to the last two mics, and we're gonna go with the Lewitt Audio. This is the Lewitt Audio 340 TT. So this is the Lewitt Audio 340 TT.
It's Lewitt. It's full. It does not have the attack like the others, but very full, which again, you can't go wrong with a full snare mic any day. So yeah, Lewitt is always go-to for us. So yeah, nice mic, like it.
All right, guys, we've made it. We're on to the last mic for today. We're gonna finish with the Lewitt Audio 440 DM. Now, this is a great, it's a dynamic mic, great for percussion and stuff. I've used it for snare bottom, I've used it for snare top, I've used it for percussions, just all sort of things. But let's see what it sounds like on the snare. And I'm gonna use this as the last mic and call it a day. All right, let's see what this 440 sounds like.
Sounds pretty good. It actually does have the attack. It has the body as well. Yeah, Lewitt is I don't know if I'm biased or whatever, but Lewitt is my favorite mic as a drummer, and this does give me like a little Heil vibe with the attack. Not as much, but it's a pretty complete mic for the snare. Can't go wrong with this one.
All right, guys, I've sweated for you guys today. Okay, I've sweated for you guys today. But there you have it. We've gone through number of condenser dynamic mics. You've seen, well, you've seen the mics and you've heard what it sounds like. Talk to us. What are you guys hearing in the samples you heard? What do you guys feel? And if you're interested, I'll leave a Dropbox link for you to download the high quality file so you can go listen in your own DAWs. You know, if you want to try EQing and see how they take EQ, you know, you can try that out. I know one mic that takes EQ really well is the Lauten mics. You can do some crazy EQ and you don't really hear a lot of those changes. But yeah, thanks for joining us today. Hope this has been educative and informative for you guys. See you on the next one. Peace.